Okay, this is a really simple video requested by a friend of mine who simply wants to know how to open Blender and basically add a couple of shapes and then add color to those shapes and render them. So it's not going to be complicated, it's just going to be really simple for those people who kind of are a bit bewildered by Blender upon opening it, and hopefully from there we can kind of progress, or you can progress to experiment a little bit. So this is our very first opening screen on Blender 2.9. It doesn't have to be 2.9. So I'm just going to click the screen now, and you'll be presented with this. This is kind of our viewport, and what you've got here, you've got three components that are always there by default. You've got a camera. This is our camera. You've got a default cube, which is our default shape, and then you've got a light up here. This is a lamp, and that comprises our scene. Okay. Now, if you want to render that, all you have to do, you can press F12 on your keyboard, or if you don't want to use a shortcut, come up to the top left here, click render, and click render image. And there we go, you've performed your very first rendering of your very first scene in Blender. And basically it's the cube, it's a default color, it's a white cube, and that's what you get. So that's how you render an object. Let's just close that window down. And like I say, it's really simple, this is. If you want to click on that box and then click delete on your keyboard, that deletes it. And if you want to add another object, you can do it from shortcuts, but this is a really simple tutorial, so I'm going to show you how to just simply do it using your mouse. Come up here, go to add, and then mesh, and here you've got a choice of meshes, that's a flat plane, you've got a cube, these are kind of basic shapes, circle, you've got a UV sphere and an icosphere. The main difference is there, just the way in which those spheres are constructed. You've got a cylinder, a cone, and a torus. So let's create a UV sphere. Click on that, and there we go. And it always creates a sphere from the location of your kind of cursor origin there, which is there, if you know what I mean. So there we go. And if you use the center button on your mouse, the kind of scroll wheel, you can click that and rotate around. That's just your viewport, but bear in mind you're not rotating it within the scene, because the camera is always, well, it is there, you're not moving the camera as such, but we're going to leave the camera there. Up here, by the way, is you're just kind of your viewport. You can view it from kind of different axes. There we go, or just maneuver it as you wish. So the next question my friend asked me is, how do you change the color of your object? Okay, we're just going to do this really simply. Come down here to this button here, which is your materials button. Click on that. Your materials are empty. Click new. Okay, now there's lots of different options with your materials, but this is the most simplest way to add color to an object, and that's all I'm going to do. Click on your base color and make a selection from your color palette here. Okay, I'm going to go for a nice bright red. This button over here determines how dark or bright that color is, as you can see. There we go. We've now made it red. You won't see that because up here are your different kind of viewing options. This one is just your basic solid mode, if you hover over it. The next one along is your kind of material preview mode. And there we go, so you're viewing it in material preview mode, and this one next is our render preview. Okay, so normally I would just keep it in this one, to be honest. If we click render over here, render image, there we go. There's our rendered object in the most simplest form possible. You're seeing lots of little squares here, but that can all be adjusted afterwards. You can make that nice and smooth. Like I said, this was meant to be a really simple tutorial, and if you want to add another object, obviously you can come up here, add another mesh. We can add, let's go back to let's add a torus. There we go. It's added it there. can see it added it from center. If we want to move that, come over here and click the move button. Like I say, I'm not using any shortcuts here. I can move it over there like so. There we go. And now if we render that, render image, there we go. Just close that window down again. So bear in mind that's your move button and this is your selection box here. So there you go. I can come back here, select something, move it. That is it, and I'm probably just going to text or send my friend a message and saying, there you go, get on with it and see how you get on to begin with.